Hi and welcome. And we already have Miss Renee here saying hello, hello. So I need to do a couple things. We need to jump over to Instagram and invite in our friends there. And then I'll just make sure that oh, there we go. All set. Okay. And we're going to make sure my downline. We're all set there too. So fantastic. It's Casual Friday. And I have for you a so much fun Christmas card using the Filled with Cheer stamp set. And so if you thought, I didn't see that in the holiday catalog, that's because it's one of the online exclusives. So let me introduce myself. I'm Shelley Godby, and for 23 years, I've been teaching you how to create hand stamped smiles through my YouTube video, my Stamping Smiles blog, and my mailing list. And it's Casual Friday. Oh, and Miss Adeline is here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, Tuesday, I meant to show you a couple cards, and then before I finished, I thought I'm missing something. And then after I ended, I went, oh, I wanted to show them my birdhouse card. Anyway, so I will do that at the beginning. Here's that Filled with Cheer stamp set. Oh, and Miss Danette is here, and Miss Bonnie B. Oh my goodness, she beat me to it. Thank you. Miss Bonnie gave my video a thumbs up and shared it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if everyone else watching would do that, it would mean so much to me. And of course, comment, at least say hello. And Miss Patricia's here, and Miss Danette. Wow, this is fun. A great Friday. Okay, so this is the Filled with Cheer stamp set, one of the online exclusives, and it coordinates with the Filled with Fun dies, and there's a stamp set that goes with this too, another online exclusives. So the wagon die, we'll cut this out. We have this for the ornaments, a banner for the Filled with Fun, and for the Christmas light, sorry about that, and then for the wagon wheel. So really cool that it coordinates with more than one. Okay, so before we get started, because I don't want to forget. So do you remember, I think it was last week or the week before, I made this sweet Christmas birdhouse card that opens up. And one of you all said, oh, that would make such a cute Halloween card. So hold on to your britches. And there we go. This time, instead of making it a card that opens, I used it on a full card and added with it the playful ghost. How stinking cute is this? The pumpkins are from that stamp. Everything, all the stamped images, the boo, the clouds are all from the playful ghost. And that's another one of the online exclusives. And if you're watching on YouTube, I have a link right over there to the online exclusives. There's so many products for you to find. Wow, there are a lot. And this designer series paper is also an online exclusive. So you just want to go over there and check that out. And so I thought, nope, I got to show them. So we have Christmas and Halloween. And of course we can use it for, regular seasons too, but it's just a lot of fun to do this. So there we go. Sorry, I forgot that. Now I do have, oh, thank you, Miss Danette. I have two more cards to show you if I remember. And so if someone would remind me if I haven't, I made two more cards with the Filled with Cheer that I want to show you after we get done. Well, thank you, Miss Bonnie. And we've got Miss Lauren here too. Well, thank you. Yeah, it wasn't my idea to do a Christmas birdhouse. Actually, it was Miss Patricia's. And then, like I said, one of you all said, oh, it'd be so cute for Halloween. I thought, oh, I've got to do that. Okay, so here we go. And my dies, I have them stored on one of these magnet cards from Stampin Storage. It's a different company, but they have products to, oh gracious, deck out your craft room like no one's business to get it all organized beautifully, your cardstock, your ink pads, your everything. And they have products to store your stamping supplies. These magnet cards, super strong. And so then I slide it into one of these storage pockets. And if you're watching on YouTube, I've got a link under the video to both of those. All right, so I'm not using these tonight, but I wanted to show you how they worked with both the Filled with Fun and the Filled with Cheer. So I have a little bit of die cutting to do and embossing, and I'm very excited about the embossing. So let me grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. There we go. And I have that catalog to be able to tell you. So I'm getting that handle out of the shot. There we go. And I'm going to start with die cutting. I'm going to do a small circle with the Stylish Shapes dies. So I could use plate number 1 and plate number 2, but instead I'm going to use the magnetic platform. Oh, snowmen are Miss Renee's favorite. Well, I think you're going to, well, if you saw the sneak peek, you got to see it. This card's stinking cute. All right, so I prefer using a magnetic platform. It doesn't make me a perfect die cutter, but it makes me a much better one. But I still do need a cutting plate, a plate number 3. And then I have basic white thick cardstock. And let me grab my die off of here. It's that second smallest. And there we go. And then I need to finish it with another plate number 3. Yeah, this melting snowman, too stinking cute. All right. And then we're going to do some embossing. Now, the Stylish dies, I don't know. I don't know that you can see. It has little stitching around it. Maybe when I move this, it'll be better. Now, here's another reason I love the magnet cards. Look at that. Just right back on there. So I'm not losing any dies because that's not fun. Or to separate it and not sure where it came from. All right, so I'm going to now use plate number 1. And then I have the Snowfall 3D embossing folder. There we go. You can see that image a lot better. And then I have, now this is the Granny Apple Green. It's the two-tone cardstock. So cool. So can you see how one side's darker than the other? I want the lighter side. And so I'm going to put this in here and close it. And you want the hinge to go through first. And it's easy to remember, just have the Stampin' Up! Logo facing you. And so no cutting pad. And it's fine because we're not cutting anything. We won't hurt anything. So plate number 1, your 3D embossing folder with your paper inside. And then we need a specialty plate. Now that comes with the purchase of a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. But say you have another machine with the same size plates. For instance, the Big Shot, this will work with it. You need that to get to the appropriate thickness because 2 cutting plates with a regular embossing folder, it just won't do it. And if you eliminate one of them, it's just not thick enough with 1 cutting pad. The specialty plate is that perfect thickness. And then we get all these delicate snowflakes embossed on there. Isn't that beautiful? All right, so let's set this aside. And we get to stamp. And so what I have basic white thick cardstock for this. 2 reasons. One, because I'm going to color the Stampin' Blends, and it's recommended. And the other, I'm popping this up with Stampin' Dimensionals, and I want it to be nice and sturdy. All right, so I've got the Tuxedo Black Memento ink pad. And let's see. All right, and let's ink that up. And I've got my notes here to make sure I don't forget anything. Doesn't mean I won't, but to help me. All right. And so whenever my stamp is bigger than my pad, I take the pad to the stamp instead of the other way around. So we're going to get this good and inked up. And I'm over inking, I'm sure, but, you know, have it. Okay. And I do want to center this on here. I'm not die cutting it, so I want to be careful with my placement. There we go. And let's press everywhere. Okay, Miss Renee, does a magnetic plate replace the plate number 2? Yes, honey. Yep. It's the appropriate thickness. Instead of plate number 1 and 2, you just use that. You know, and then again with cutting plates. So it's meant for the thin metal dies. All right, let's see how I did. Oh, how cute is he? He is just melting away. Adorable, adorable, adorable. You know what? while we're doing our stamping, let's finish. So I have my little circle, and we have a warm hello. Well, I thought, well, that makes sense because he's melting. Yeah, that magnetic platform, I've got a link under the video to where you can pick that up on Amazon. Just makes life easier. So because this is a photopolymer stamp set, clear rubber, I can see through it and where I'm stamping. And to me, it's quicker to stamp afterwards when I can do that instead of trying to center the die around it. And so I'm thinking if you all have watched me for any length of time, I'm always looking for shortcuts. You might think I'm a little impatient or something. All right, so there we go. And so now we get to color it. Oh, and we're not done with this. Okay, so I have, all the colors are listed below the video, and it was a lot of fun to play with this. So I've got basic black for his hat. And you know what, I'm using the light, and then I can shade with the dark. The black is pretty doggone opaque. And for all of this, I used the bullet tip because everything was pretty small. And the designer series paper I used with this is the Take a Bow 6x6 paper. And it's in garden green, granny apple green, and real red. And so then again, that bullet tip. And then I don't know if it adds that much because it is so dark. Just a little bit of, all right. Fun, fun, fun. And his nose with pumpkin pie and his scarf. I thought I'll show you the sled. And so I have crumb cake. Here we go, in the light and the dark. And so I'll show you what I did. Whoops. Hold on. Oh, tips, that's why. Okay. But that's okay, because I wanted to use both anyway. So this is light, which this cap should be with it. There we go. And I still want the bullet end. You're welcome, Miss Renee. Yeah. And so I added some of both because it was a little bit dark with just, okay, I just mixed up the tips again. There we go. And so I got a medium version this way, and I preferred that. Okay. And then, okay, I want to add a little bit more. And then I'm using the light to blend it out. As I often do, I looked up pictures of sleds. So I'm hitting the green. And this is the dark crumb cake. And then we'll blend it out with the light. And I can always go back and add a little bit more. So I would like it a little bit deeper. And the Stampin' blends, these are alcohol markers. And it's best if you color on a non-porous surface. You know, we have that glass mat. What I'm using is a silicone mat. And I picked this up on Amazon. And again, the link is under the video for that. So a non-porous surface so the ink stays on the paper and doesn't absorb into the paper you have underneath you. We're going to use that again. And then this is a red flyer one. So again, with that bullet tip, when I looked it up, this is what was red. So this is all the metal. Like, anyone do this as a kid? We had one. By the time, you know, we did on our own, I had the disc to go flying down the hill. And there we go. And so for the tree, this was so cutesy, you know, and I didn't know I was going to use the garden green paper at that point. but we don't have, or not garden green, granny apple green. And garden green, we don't have it in the blends. And I just, shaded spruce felt a little bit more formal. I thought, well, I think it'll be pretty if I use the granny apple green. And so let's just see what happens. And start coloring my tree. And this is the light. Okay, cool. And then come in with the dark and hit some of these. Okay, so because that is a lot of coloring, it didn't take forever, but I thought, boy, this is Casual Friday. Everyone's probably tired, so I went ahead and just finished coloring. All right, almost finished. So there we go. And all the colors are listed, and I can tell you. So, you saw most of it. I just did that. The scarf is red, just like his hat. And finished coloring this in, and I've got some red ornaments as your afternoon. I did a shaded spruce and daffodil delight, and then the star I wanted to be gold, so I used the wild wheat. Oh, Miss Lauren had a sled like that and a saucer. Yes, yep, it was so much fun. My goodness. So I'm not quite done here, and I used pecan pie for his arms, the sticks. All right, so whenever you do a snowman, just to have this white, everything else is colored, right? And you have, okay, I don't think the camera loved that when I went too fast. It just looks unfinished. So we finish it, we still leave it white, but crumb cake and smoky slate, both the light, are great colors. And they already gave you some shadows here. And it just makes a finished image. And so we'll start with, there we go, the lines they gave us, but then I'm going to add some more. Because like I said, it's just odd. And it just, well, unfinished. That's the best I can say. It just looks unfinished if we don't add. And the scarf would cause a little bit of a shadow. So we'll just, and it's not a lot, but it adds a lot. There we go. Okay. And I still have 2 cards to show you when we're done. All right, so this, okay, he melts my heart. Like, oh my goodness. But this excites me to no end. And so I used, that two-sided, two-tone cardstock, and I have the lighter one. And this has a white core. Now, this cardstock isn't as thick as our standard cardstock. It just isn't. Here's the Granny Apple Green cardstock. A lot sturdier than this. But you know what? This was designed for the scrapbooking. And that'll be great. So pages, as you pile up the layers, don't get too thick. But in order to be two-tone, you can see the 2 tones, which is a lot of fun. The core of it is white because the color doesn't go all the way through because we've got 2 different colors going on. Well, it's a beautiful thing that it's a white core because I've got a sanding block. And if you're, again, watching, I've got a link to YouTube with sanding blocks that are meant for paper. Stampin' Up! Had these a million years ago. And so I'm going to sand off the raised embossed images, revealing that white core. So I have white snowflakes, which tickles me to no end. A snowstorm of white. And it doesn't take a lot of pressure to reveal that. But how stinking cool is that? Like, oh, this just makes my card extra special, as if the snowman wasn't adorable enough. And so I did try it on Pool Party, which I have right here to show you. How cool is that? But I had everything else designed, and with all of this DSP, I tried it and I didn't love it. I like it better, the Granny Apple Green, but look at that. And so the 2-tone cardstock, that's available to order in my online store, which is www.shopwithshelly.com. But white snowflakes that we didn't have to, stamp, put on embossing powder, heat it up, is just that quick to have snowflakes that are white with a colored background. And then look at that two-tone. Isn't that cool? So of course I did the light against that dark. So I still have Granny Apple Green, but the two-tone. This is like doubling all of our colors. We don't have them in all of our colors yet, but eventually we will. All right, so we're going to get to start putting this together. Now, this is embossed. Whenever things are laying nice and flat, I use my Stampin' Seal. Love it. But whenever there's embossing and things aren't as flat as they could be, you know, mini glue dots, Stampin' Dimensionals, but that wouldn't be great on this thinner cardstock. Stampin' Seal Plus. It's meant for the heavier, when the heavier need is in. And that's not quite the way I mean to say that, but when you need something stronger, and it's just quicker than the mini glue dots because I just roll it right out. And then tomorrow, come back and I'll have a link to my blog post with all the measurements to make it easy to duplicate my card, and a PDF that you can download, print, and save. And so the snowflakes are bigger, then they get tiny, you know, closer together as they hit the ground. Isn't that pretty? All right, someone chime in and say, Shelly, yes, that's pretty. All right, and so this is from the Take a Bow. I always want to say bow because that's what it looks like, but and they happen to be the opposite side. But like I said, the Garden Green, Granny Apple Green, and the Real Red. So again, I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal Plus. And wait a minute. I want the opposite sides. If I didn't do that right, I was going to have to jump up and cut a new piece. Okay, so this is going about equal distance from the top and side. And I just realized I cut that bigger than I meant to. Huh. Well, I happen to have a paper trimmer right here, so let's trim that bad boy down. I didn't even catch that. All right, so I want this a little bit smaller. Hold on. I've got a ruler here somewhere to know what size I want. And while we're having a paper pumpkin special, it ends October 10th. If you're a new subscriber to Paper Pumpkin, okay, this should have been. All right, so let's just trim this down. Well, here's how we use our paper trimmer. So I've got this. Okay, I'm only off a 1/4 inch, so I'm going to come in at 1/8 inch from each side. And here's 3, here's 4. That in the center is the half. Head at 3 1/4. So now we're going between, wow, 3 1/4 and 3 1/2 to get to 3 5/8. Trim that down. If you push on that bottom, this lifts up easier. And I'll come from this way. There we go. Boy, a 1/4 inch just throws off the whole card, doesn't it? And I'm still a little bit bigger than I meant to have. Where am I at? Oh, I'm at 3 1/2, and I wanted to get to 3 1/4, didn't I? Okay, I should have taken a 1/4 from each side. So we're going to repeat that and do an 1/8 inch all over again. All right, so an 1/8 is 2 of these lines. So the Paper Pumpkin Special, if you've never subscribed before, you get 40% off your first kit. Okay, what, 3 1/4? Which is huge, and the kit looks adorable. There we go. That paper trimmer really is a nice tool. Okay. Now that's the size I want. Right. And what I want to do is have this. So I want to put this on dimensionals, and I don't want it sticky yet. So I'm going to hold it and get my placement for this. I think that looks really good. Let's drop it down and try. That looks fantastic. Okay, so once I'm pleased, I go ahead and press everywhere. Okay, Miss Lauren, do you have a problem with the Seal Plus tearing your cardstock? No, no. Once in a while, it gets stuck in the embossing. That it has torn once it was embossed, but not through. It wasn't a big deal. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, it, it did, but it wasn't a problem. All right, so I have here Stampin' Dimensionals, my favorite adhesive ever, because by giving this a lift, it's just going to add a lot to it. Yeah, I know what Miss Lauren's talking about. Thank goodness, like I said, it didn't tear through it. It didn't need to start over. All right, and so if they're not popping up for you, take your thumbnail, press down, and that edge pops up, making them super easy to get off. And I like one in the center for support. Oh, and that one is, and so this comes in over here. How cute are these patterns? It's really hard for me not to I'd like to just keep playing with this. So again, back with my Stampin' Dimensionals for this. And I'm going to place it here, so I need support over there to make up that difference. And that'll be flat on there. Let's give it a little bit of Stampin' Seal. And a warm hello, as he's so happy as he melts. And then we have the finishing touch. And here I have the adhesive back shiny sequins. You know what? I'm not sure. This may be an online exclusives. And I thought, well, I've got green snowflakes going on. Why not? So I always press down on the embellishment so the adhesive, because they're adhesive back, sticks to the embellishment and doesn't stay on the acetate sheet. Okay. And then a small one. And Grandma always said you do things in odd numbers. So let's grab another large one for over here. Small one on my greeting. And so that's 4. Okay, Grandma, got to keep it even. You know, some things just stick with you, don't they? And that's one of them. And Grandma would tell us to always do, you know, the pillows, all that in odd numbers. And there we have. How cute is that? Our So Much Fun Christmas card with the Filled with Cheer stamp set. That's here somewhere. Well, I'm glad you saw it. Oh, that's what hit the floor, I think. Oh, no, here we go. Yep. There we go with the Filled with Cheer stamp set. Okay, I've got a couple more things to tell you, but I didn't forget. I do have some cards. So the online exclusives. Of course, we've got the scrapbooking brochure that's out, and that two-tone cardstock is part of that. And if you haven't picked any up yet, you're going to want some. Like I said, it doubles your colors because you get the lighter version of the color. And Paper Pumpkin Special, I told you about the link. And if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, do so, because whenever you'll get an announcement when I'm scheduling a live, and then whenever I upload a video. And the kids sale, oh my goodness, the kids collection, they're in my online store. They are 15% off. I believe that's right. Well, thank you. Oh, Miss Danette. Oh, Miss Lauren, you all are so sweet. And so, yeah, those kits are a lot of fun. And if you enjoy that, you would like Paper Pumpkin, which, you know, first time subscribers, 40% off. And of course, the new